Go, baby. Let's get this rolling. What's up, everyone? How we doing?
Hey yo, what's going on, bro?
What's up? How we doing?
Not bad, bro. How you doing, bro?
Doing good, dude. Just getting the day started here on the West Coast.
Nice. I'm on the East Coast, so a little bit ahead of you. This is my second or third of the day.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Well,
How you doing?
I'm good, dude. Just been working away. I got the new version coming out with
Good for you, bro.
yeah, so I'm really hyped on that. Made some really good improvements to it, so I'm really hyped on it. Think people are gonna like it.
Nice. I'm
So
excited to try it out once you guys got it officially in the rotation of the world.
yeah, yeah, no. So I'm just waiting on the inventory right now to come in, and I'll definitely be sending you one to try out because I'd love to hear what you think about it. And
Yeah, I would love to.
you got a pretty good audience. So um,
Thank you, bro.
yeah,
Appreciate that. Good
yeah.
people.
So all right, well, dude, let's get right into it. I got a list of did my little homework on you,
Ooh,
so we'll see how this goes. But also,
epic, bro. I'm ready
guys,
to get started.
if you're hopping in too, yeah, if you're hopping in too, you guys can ask questions. So I can ask Jeff any questions you guys want to hear about him. So if you ever wanted to know something about him, let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I get around to it. But I'll just
Now's the chance.
now's your chance, exactly. So I'll kick it off. So how did you kind of get into cannabis? And maybe you could share with us your first time smoking weed story.
Actually, yeah, I got into this smoking weed and everything through skateboarding, which is kind of funny. I was at the skate park and there was like a big group of people that would go to this park. It was anywhere from like I was like 14 at the time. It was anyone from like as young as 10 and as old as like 25. So like there was the like 14 to like 25-year-old range. Like people would just kind of commingle and stuff. And there were these dudes that were like, 17 years
Mm-hmm.
old, and they were like, man, like Jeff would be so funny high. Like, dude, it'd be so funny if he got high, blah, blah, blah. And like one day I smoked with them. I was like, sure, let's see what happens. And I go on a bull ride with them. And this is like 10 years ago. I'm 25 now. This is when I was like 15, 14. And they were like, it was like mids and heads back then. It wasn't like just good weed across the board pretty much. So they were smoking some Eddie weed, and they passed the bowl to me. I hit it, all's good. I had to like have somebody like assist me with the shotgun just because like the idea of like lighting it, shotgunning it, like my first time, I was like that's just too much for my brain. But I smoked with them. I took like 2 or 3 hits, and I just like was giggling uncontrollably at that point. I like literally couldn't handle reality. Like weed was just so intense the first time. Like I remember like everything was tingling and like God, I was so lit that there was a little kid at the skate park that was like walking to like the gas station like right by it, and we parked at the gas station. We're walking back, and I'm like laughing, looking at the kid, like giggling, and like the closer he gets to me, I just start laughing harder and harder and harder to the point where like by the time he's like side to side to me, I'm like on my knees laughing like uncontrollably at this like poor little kid. I was just like, dude, I am so sorry. In hindsight, I'm so sorry. Like he probably thought I was like making fun of him or something, but I was just too fucking stoned,
Yeah.
man. In reality, it just weed was strong, especially like when you don't have a tolerance, dude. It is a whole nother fucking ball game.
Yeah, no,
But yeah,
absolutely. I
how
remember,
old were
I
you
mean,
when
a
you
lot
first
of people
smoked?
say that their first freshman in high school, I was like 15.
Okay,
So
nice. I was 14,
actually,
like
it's
going into
kind
my
of an
freshman year.
interesting story. Yeah, so
Love
it's
to hear
kind
it.
of interesting. I was at a football game like in the fall, and I was a freshman in high school, and I had an older sister who was a senior when I was a freshman, and so like I kind of like grew up like in middle school and elementary, like kind of knowing some of the older guys because like my sister would hang out with them. And
Mm-hmm.
so one of the guys, he wasn't, uh, he was kind of a friend of one of my sister's friends. He was actually a junior, but we were at a football game, and like during the game, we left like in his car, which was sick, and we left with a group of like 3 to 4 guys, I think.
Did you know you were
And
gonna
we
smoke
just
when you
like
left, or were you
smoked.
guys just like out of there?
Yeah, no, we came back and watched like the rest of the game, but we smoked Maui Wowie, which was badass. Like I'll never
Ooh.
forget because it was like that's such a badass like like strain, like especially the first time like I never really heard of it. I was like, oh, like Maui Wowie, this is sick. But I never really like was super duper high. I would say like I wasn't really like that baked, but I remember being a little bit paranoid because I was at the football game and there's like tons of parents around and stuff like that. But I mean, it was overall a pretty good experience, though. Me and my friend, I was with my buddy Luke at the time, and that was his first time as well. And so we kind of share that experience, and so that was really cool. Cool
What
time.
was your
But
munchies
yeah,
of
I mean,
choice that you first had? Like, did you go to like
dude, my
McDonald's or
munch.
a fucking convenience store?
I mean, at that time, we didn't get food, but my munchies
Okay.
throughout like the time. I mean, I always hit 7-Eleven and get like Slurpees, and I'd always fuck with the powdered donuts, dude. Like the white
Wise
powdered
man.
donuts. I just get
Oh,
the
fucking fire.
bag. I'd get the bag and just go ham on those.
Oh, that
But
sounds
I'll
phenomenal.
fucking eat anything. Like I'll eat
I feel that.
anything. I mean, I like yeah. So,
Not
well, dude, that's
everything's
cool.
better when
A
you're
lot
high.
of people, don't. Yeah, a lot of people don't say, they get baked the first time, or like they don't
Yeah, I
get
know.
high.
Yeah, some people do say that they like actually don't feel the effects. Like I can 1000% say I felt the effects. Like from the first time I
Yeah,
smoked it, I was like, I love this feeling. This is awesome. Like, and I don't know, I
yeah,
like the taste of the weed. Like I've always loved good weed because like my first time smoking it was good weed, and I just like remember like tasting it and just being like, holy crap, this is amazing. And then like when I went to buy weed for myself, I bought this like eighth of mids. And like I swear, like a gram and a half of it was just like seeds and stems. Like picked all that shit out. I'm like, this just smells like mildew. Like this is so disappointing.
yeah. Well, Tyler asked, first time hitting dabs. So for me, it
Ooh,
wasn't until college. I have an older brother too, and he smoked dabs, and so that was the first time that I smoked dabs. I didn't hit any dabs like in high school.
yeah, they
So
weren't a thing when I was in high school. It was probably like 2014, 15. Like I graduated in 2012. So it was like 2 or 3 years
mm.
after high school. My buddy came back from the beach for like a little summer trip and was like, "Bro, like you got to try this shit, man. My buddy's got this. It's basically like the honey of the sap of the weed. Like imagine like syrup from a tree. It's basically that's what it is." And like it was this black, like dark, like darker than my hair, like just straight up black, like oil. No matter like how much you
Damn.
flattened it out, like, it was so unpurged. But we dabbed it and like. Dude, I remember I got so high the first time I dabbed it. Like we were, I remember I was like in the car behind my buddy. I wasn't driving because I was like way too fucking high to drive. But we were, I felt like the car in front of us. We had like a string attached to us, and it was like pulling us. Like I felt like we were like a train. I was, it was almost like psychedelic the first time I dabbed. It was nuts. And then I went home, and my mom came
Damn,
in my
bro,
room. What is that?
I was just saying, you got some crazy shit, bro. Like you like your mind is racing when you're fucking based, dude. Like,
Oh yeah, it's bad. I always am fucking just like I just have like the craziest imagination. But I came home that night and I'm like literally just like laying on my bed. It's like 7 o'clock. Like my mom knocks on my door and comes in my room, and I'm just like, "Hey, what's up?" And she's like, "Are you drunk? Like you look so fucking fucked up." I'm like, "No, mom, I'm just high." She's like, "Well, whatever you're smoking looks fucking dangerous." And like shut the door. And I was like, well,
that's pretty
thanks,
chill.
mom."
That's pretty chill. Like,
Yeah,
um,
my mom's always been really chill with weed, which has helped with me being me.
yeah, no. So I was gonna kind of get into that a little bit. I was gonna ask you, have you experienced any like pushback, like, with this stuff? Because it's still, kind of a taboo kind of subject. And, I don't know, my parents are pretty chill with it too. I don't know if you could really have strict parents and really kind of put yourself out there like that.
It makes it a lot harder. Family wise, like I kept it a secret until I had like 20, 25,000 followers or something, where it was like something like substantial enough I could be like, "Mom, like this is what I'm doing."
Yeah.
But they were always like super. My family was always like supportive of the idea. They've always thought it was cool. Socially, like some people think it's lame or that I like am smoking. Just like I get some pushback, but like nothing I really pay attention to or care about, to be honest. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
uh,
yeah, you're always gonna get pushback no matter what. Like even if you're doing like makeup tutorials on like
yeah,
YouTube or something, like you're always gonna get like pushback from people. So
or
it's
just people that just don't understand. Like my girlfriend, she's like a software tech engineer. Like I honestly should know more about what she does, but it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like so in depth. Like I'll meet her friends and they just have like these like they work for like big legit companies doing all this shit, and I'm like, oh yeah, I smoke weed on the internet, and that's
yeah,
kind of my job. Like, and so that's kind of where it gets like some people like will look at me with a side eye, just that like are just so stuck in the normal idea of reality where like you have to go to college, get a
yeah,
boss, work a job you don't like, and then start the day all over again the next day. Um,
yeah, yeah. I think there's definitely, especially if you're successful, doing the path that you do, which is kind of an entrepreneurial path. It's definitely against the grain, and against society's norms. When you become successful, there's definitely a level of like cynicism that people who aren't on that path kind of resent you a little bit, just I think naturally,
true.
just because, I mean, you I mean, dude, getting a job at a 9 to 5 job, not always, but having a boss, I mean, it's not usually that fun. They're usually, doing something that they don't probably want to do. They're just doing it because it pays the bills.
I agree,
Whereas,
but I mean,
yeah,
at the end of the day, you're always gonna have someone you have to answer to, and like no matter what you're doing, like even if like like you don't have a boss, like your customers in a sense are your boss, like you gotta appease. There's always people you gotta appease. Like there's always stress to it, but I feel like
mhm,
some people just see like an envy in
mhm,
like what you're doing, or like it's like they are like we'll see a jealousy in what you're doing, and then just be like, wow, you like are why are you doing that? That's lame. Or they'd want to be doing it in their own version. Like say they fucking love knife throwing and they see me smoking weed on the internet getting a bunch of views, and they're like, well, what the fuck? If I film my knife throwing, I'd be popping on the internet. It's like, all right, well, you don't bother to make the account, make a video, do it all the time. Like that's
yeah,
like but I mean, regardless, I don't really like to focus on that. Ultimately, friends, family, and just the surrounding people around me. It's all overwhelming positivity.
yeah. It's not like it's a fucking cakewalk either. I mean, there's a lot of time and energy going into video editing and getting ideas and stuff like that. Um, let's see. Elephant Genetics said, um, I always see you at Glass Shop on your Snapchat. And then he was asking, like, do you work there or like where do you work? And then Chalmers was asking how many followers you have on Snapchat.
Well, I work with a local glass shop. I sell it through like a consignment thing. Basically, the glass that they have, they will put on my story. If it sells, I get a commission of it, and that's how that works. Um, and
Oh,
then
awesome.
Snapchat followers, you don't really get to see like your actual follower count, but like I average like 25,000 views a day. Sometimes it's a little higher, sometimes it's a little lower, but I've been posting consistently on Snapchat like every day, making a pretty entertaining story for 3 4 years now. So it's built
Damn.
over the time. It's been even when like Instagram always deleted me, I always stayed steady on Snapchat. That's where I always have like focused my content creation until like this past few months. I've tried to steer more towards YouTube because I feel
Yeah,
like
no, I
YouTube
saw that you
videos
did your
last
YouTube
longer.
channel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no,
just
yeah, I know. Yeah,
I'm
go
sorry, I'll
into
let you
that
go.
a little. I was
My
just gonna say
YouTube
go into that. Yeah.
Sorry, there's a little delay. My YouTube, I really just started to like, get into that more just because I felt like the Instagram content is just very repetitive. The shit that gets views is just not necessarily the content I like to make. And I felt like I was posting all these videos on Snapchat, putting so much effort towards my Snapchat. But after 24 hours, it's gone, and like nobody could like go back and watch it again if they wanted to, or recommend it to somebody. And I was like, you know what, I need to just start focusing on something that'll like last longer, and that's why I've been focusing on YouTube because like a video, like my best viewed videos right now are it's weird. It's like a handful of videos that are from like 2 to 4 months old. Like they're like in the search terms, and now like a video I made 6 months ago gets 1,000 views a day still, and it's like, that's cooler than
Yeah.
just getting 25,000 views every day and then it just disappearing. So I like the aspect of like being able to go back and have
Hmm.
this this it's like seasons almost of a show.
Yeah, you're getting way more lifetime value of your content when you post it up on YouTube because it's there forever, as long as you want it
Yeah,
to be.
exactly.
So that's definitely a really good idea. I like that. I think YouTube is definitely a great place to go. Yeah, I mean, why do you like Snapchat so much?
I just love the interaction. Like it's just right there. Like someone pops up, I read their message. It's very simple. I love just the simplification of it. They've been really loyal to me. At the end of the day, they've never deleted my account. Instagram's deleted me like fucking 30 times.
Mm.
I know YouTube has issues with deletion of people. They've been so weed friendly that I feel like I should like ride with them. Like it's a loyalty thing almost. And honestly, like I have a
Loyal, yeah.
following on Snapchat of people that I feel like they like go on Snapchat to see my content. And I don't know, I just don't like Instagram stories as much as Snapchat stories. So I keep the shit on. I keep the stories on Snapchat.
Can you run ads on Snapchat? Like, can cannabis companies run ads on Snapchat? Like, do they allow
I
that or
think
no?
I think they can because they'll do like random ads. It'll be like legally invest in weed today, and it's like a stock app, and they allow like drinking ads.
Mm.
Like local bars can do drink like ads. So I'd assume they're fairly friendly with all forms of advertisement. And
Yeah.
I promote stuff. They have like a link that you can include to like swipe up, for influencers to
Right.
advertise
Right.
products and stuff. So they do actually have a lot of options for promotion.
They have pretty good analytic tracking stuff, like on your Snapchat account. Like, you can look at like good analytics and stuff on there too.
They have three forms of pages. And they have like public pages, which is like if you just have an account and it's not private. Then they have popular pages, which is like a page that gets like more than 5,000 views a day. I'm pretty sure is how they gauge it. And then they have official pages, which are ones they like handpick. The popular and the official pages get the analytics. But it's pretty in depth. It'll
Interesting.
tell you like male, female, age, like to like their interests and the percent of them that like that interest. It's pretty in depth actually. I can show you it at a later time.
Yeah, no, I'd be interested for sure to look at that. Because I just have a Snapchat. I don't have a business Snapchat. I just use Snapchat for like personal, like friends. And so I
Yeah,
don't really, have a lot of analytics or, know the whole kind of advertising business side of kind of that stuff going on for Snapchat. So, yeah, no, I definitely would look into it. Let's see. Chris asked, what's your favorite dab cart?
favorite dab cart. Live resin cartridges just across the board. The liquid live resin cartridges. This company Prime makes really good ones. That's local to me. I'm trying to think in Colorado. I had a Oleo cartridge that was fucking crazy. It was a rosin cartridge. Um, but ultimately, like for like where I live in Pennsylvania, I'm gonna go with like the Prime cartridges. They have one thing it's called like Legends of '91. It's like straight grape. It's so fucking fire.
What's your favorite way to smoke?
Um, I don't discriminate, man. Honestly, as long as it's smoke or vapor, I'm cool with it. To be honest, I like to start my day with a dab. I feel like it's like a coffee. It's like a little kickstarter into the high, and then I'll smoke a joint or two, and then take a couple dabs. It's usually I always start my day with a dab though. That's my favorite way to start the day.
Hell yeah. Let's see. Chalmers said, I noticed your behind the story video on YouTube didn't blow up like your other videos did, but I personally loved it and think you should do more videos like that. Don't let the views stop you, man. Hell yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate
All
that,
love,
bro.
dude.
Actually, I've that means a lot to me. I'm gonna make another one of those for sure. So keep an eye out.
Chris also says, in the day with edibles over here. Have you
Dog,
ever taken chops or like dirty bowls before?
Yeah, they're not for me. I honestly don't really like mixing tobacco with my weed. I've done it a couple times, but like, dude, like if you see me hit tobacco at all, like I'm like that like dude that's never smoked weed before. I'm like the like, holy shit, like it is like I just hate the fucking like the way I hit weed and the way I like tobacco. Like when I try to hit tobacco like that, it just does not work for me. So I've just never really been a chop guy.
Yeah.
What about you?
Have either of you personally? Yeah, I don't take any chops anymore, but in college I definitely took my fair share of chops for sure.
I feel like it's a definitely a popular college thing.
Yeah. Elvin Genetics said, "Have either of you personally ever tried growing your own bud?" Great
I know
question.
you have.
Yeah, no, I posted a bunch of videos. If you go to my IGTV, I did a bunch of videos on there. You'll be able to find them easier if you just go to the IGTV tab. But yeah, I mean, I grew a bunch. I'm in Oregon, so it's legal to grow 4 plants per household in Oregon, which is super dope. So I grew 4 plants this past growing season, and they were huge, dude. They're outdoor grows, like they're all 7 footers at least,
Epic.
and they turned out really well. And like the thing about doing 4 plants is like you can baby them. Like I put a tarp like when it started to get closer into fall, like October. You know,
Hmm.
I I put a tarp over them,
Oh my
and
God.
to make it so no mold and mildew come in. And like I'm just like pampering them. And you can do that when you have small quantity plants and stuff like that. When you have a whole field with acres, I mean, you're not tarping your outdoor.
Yeah, it's not possible.
It's whatever gets fucking mold and mildew is just fucking shitty, and you just have to go for the hope that the weather's pretty good. And up here in Portland, it's a lot more rainier than Southern Oregon. Southern Oregon and Northern California is like right where like the growing weed. It's a lot sunnier down there, and so the weed loves the sun and the heat. Portland is like almost Portland. Just so you guys know, it's like right at the Oregon Washington border. Like it's like 30 minutes away, so it's pretty far up north. So it's a lot rainier up here, and so it starts getting rainy, September, October. So you gotta really watch out for mold and mildew. Outdoor grows are really tough up here in Portland. So,
Oh,
um, but yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I have a great time. It's great seeing the different strains and like the different, how some like 2 years ago I grew one and it was like really bushy. It was only like 3 feet, but it was like 3 feet wide too, and it was just short and stocky. And then some of them are like 7.5 feet tall. So it's kind of crazy to see the different kind of differences in the strains, from the growing side of things. So yeah, no, it's a lot of fun.
that's cool. Yeah, I've never done it personally.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to, but never actually committed. I've never really like, I've like since I've like moved out of my parents' house, I've always lived in like apartments and condos, so I've never really had like the space to do it. But one day I will. It'll happen, but it has not happened yet.
Yeah, no, I grow it over in my grandparents' farm. So I just grow it
Oh
out over
shit, that's
there. They
epic.
got a bunch of acres of land. Yeah, so
Yeah, I loved
so I just
watching your
grow it over
IG
there.
videos on it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'm gonna be doing it again this year. So when Mother's Day hits,
Can't
I'm gonna
blame
be
you.
getting those plants in the ground on Mother's Day. Yeah.
It's perfect.
So
Nice.
all right, well I got a few last kind of few questions here for
Let's do
you.
it.
Where do you see cannabis, the industry and everything in 5 years?
I think within 5 years it's gonna be totally legal federally. Might be a little pipe dream, but I really think I think that this year I think that like 10 states are gonna legalize, and then I feel like the next following 2 years like everyone's just gonna follow. It's like it's just stupid not to. Like I live in Pennsylvania. New York and Pennsylvania both said let's legalize this. And then New York's like, hey, all neighboring states, let's find a way to legalize this and work together. Like I think once the Northeast does it, and Florida does it, it's gonna meet in the middle on the East Coast. I think
Hmm.
Midwest, I think that's gonna take the longest. I think they're gonna be the last. But I think like similar is gonna have what similar thing on the West Coast is happening, where it's like California, Washington, Portland, or Washington, Oregon. Like I think it's just gonna slowly just creep into the middle, and like that like fucking Texas, like Mississippi, like all those are gonna be the last ones to do it. But I think it's either gonna
Yeah,
happen or it's
no.
gonna be like I'll circle around everyone that doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, no, those Midwest states are definitely going to be the last ones for sure to do it. Um, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you. I think in 5 years, there's definitely going to be more states legalizing it. I mean, Illinois just did it, and they're not really Midwest. I mean, they're kind of. I mean, they're kind of
But
an interesting state, Illinois,
yeah,
but they just
they're very
legalized it,
unique.
and so yeah, so that's an interesting kind of thing that they did that. And so, I think in 5 years it's definitely going to be growing. I think it's going to be way more accepted. Hopefully, social media platforms aren't so strict on the content being produced around it.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation because the issue with that is they're dealing with worldwide, not even just like the states. So like half the time the support teams that these people hire are fucking straight out of India. So like if a video even or a post gets reported, they're like it's an Indian person like, oh well, weed's illegal where I'm from. That's like a federal crime. Like seeing somebody like take a couple bong
Yep.
rips, it looks totally different to them than it does here. So it's like until it's like a worldwide thing, it's going to be an uphill battle for social media, I think, because sadly,
Yeah.
these companies cater worldwide, not just to Americans. And I mean, it makes sense. That's who their audience is. It's worldwide, but it's where it's like, dude, I'm not breaking a single law. It's like sometimes I've made videos where I'm breaking a law or two, but it's like, dude, like we're not doing anything wrong. We're not hurting anybody. Everybody, nobody's upset at this content. Like whoever is just ignorant on what's going on. So that. Hopefully
Yeah,
that'll change soon, though.
that's a really good. Yeah, that's a really good point about the worldwide audience. It's tough. Yeah, that's going to be a challenge for sure. All right. Well, where do you see yourself in 5 years, and your role in cannabis in 5 years?
Hopefully doing something similar to what I'm doing. I just want to keep growing the platform, making it bigger and bigger. Recently, in the last like year or so, I had decided to like be more of a face in the industry more than just like taking pictures and creating content from the other side. So hopefully in 5 years, it's just bigger and I'm more of a known name in the industry than I am currently because it's a there's a lot of people that have seen my content, but they don't know who actually made it because I never like actually showed my face before like about a year or two ago. So that's really my main goal is just to grow in the industry and just I'm going to keep my career in cannabis. That's really just my main goal with this such a rocky industry. As long as I'm still working in weed, I'll
Yeah,
be happy at the end of the day.
yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's really critical, especially on social media, all the platforms, to really show your face because you can connect with the audience a lot better and build relationships and build a community. Build an actual
Oh, for sure.
community around Jeff, around your personality, because there's not another Jeff like you out there, and so
I appreciate that.
your differentiator between other influencers is you know you live in Pennsylvania, and like the things that you like to do and your hobbies and interests and like just your personality, like that's what
And
your
that's my favorite part
differentiator
about
between.
it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like nothing special about me, but like the way that like people can identify with me from one way or another, whether you're from Pennsylvania, BA gang, or you're just not like sometimes I feel like a lot of these influencers just try to be the coolest, hardest motherfucker in the world, and that's just not who I am. I'm just a dude smoking weed, having a good time, and it's cool when people can more identify with that than like the dude that's trying to take the. I sound hypocritical because I just did a 1 gram dab video, but like the dudes that are just always taking gram dabs or fucking like 50 gram dabs, it's just like dude, like I don't know, it's just not really as cool as I think just
Mhm.
genuinely being yourself and including cannabis in the videos is because I think it's cool to just have really fun content and there's weed smoking intertwined with it. Like I love vlogging, which is something I kind of slacked on recently, but I love like that's like my
Yeah.
favorite like content I've made is like they've gotten like the least amount of views, but I did like a vlog when I went to or when I moved my girlfriend to Colorado and like just creating vlog content with B-roll and adding music to it, and just giving it that vibe. Like it's just so much more fun to me than any other like form of content. But it's so fun to mix weed in with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, dude, it was really good to get to know you a little bit better on
Yeah,
this.
man, this is
Dude,
awesome.
I keep pushing on all your stuff, dude, because you definitely, seem
Thank you,
like a
bro.
really cool guy. You seem like a very genuine guy. I think there's gonna be a lot of people out there that are gonna love watching your content and stuff like that, dude. So, dude, keep pushing, keep
I
posting
appreciate you, man.
content,
Thank you so
and
much.
I'll be following you, throughout your journey.
I
So.
appreciate you, dude, for real. And I hope to meet you in person one day. We got to smoke a joint. Actually,
Yeah, no,
link
absolutely.
face to face sometime.
Yeah, we'll see if we do a trade show or something.
Oh yeah, that'd be epic. One of the next champs or something. We'll try to link
Yeah.
up.
All right.
All
Sounds
right.
good. Well, dude, have a good rest of your day.
You too, brother. Thank you so much.
All right. Peace out, guys.
Peace.